Hello, everybody. Welcome to It Was Tuesday, the podcast about fighting games with your host James Chen, aka Jay Chenzor. Very strange week. I'm so used to doing Tekken reaction trailers and Street Fighter dev matches and all that stuff, and we got nothing today, boys. We got nothing today. So I'm going to have to come up with my own topics, and I figured we would try to do some more fighting game history stuff today. And so today, what I want to talk about, I'll give the little bit of a backstory of why this subject even came up in my head. But let's talk about this over here. It is already Wednesday for Basset Snake. But let us go ahead and go over here and talk about this. The secret of the glove for Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So during Evo Japan Restream weekend, the first night that I was there, I was like, okay, I'm going to go out and grab dinner. And Jadelin Gaming, one of the commentators for Evo Japan, also wanted to grab dinner. So we met up in the lobby just to go get some food. And then Yipes came walking by and we're like, hey, Yipes, what's going on? He's like, yo, have you guys eaten food yet? And we're like, no. And we're like, okay, cool. Let's actually do this. And so the three of us decided to grab some food. So we Ubered our way to some Chinese restaurant. Actually, solid Chinese restaurant there in Northern California, really in the middle of nowhere, but very, very good food. We drove back to the hotel. And then we started to eat, and it just somehow kind of turned into this session where myself and Yipes were like talking to Jadelin about all this old school stuff. We were giving her the rundown on some FGC lore. And one of the lore that actually came up was the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 glove. And I gotta wonder how many people actually know anything about this. But yes, in fact, it is true. At one point in time, all the MvC2 players, who were cool, by the way, all the hip MvC2 players were wearing gloves on their right hand when they played MvC2. Why were they doing this? Because, as Yipes told Jadelin, there was one point in time where after playing MvC2 for a really long time, he literally held up his hand and it was just like bleeding everywhere. And so Yipes was actually the progenitor of the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 glove. And so, not only am I going to tell you this story, but we've got photo evidence here. Woo! Look at my Flickr. Here's my Flickr page over here. And one of the photos I've taken here, this is from Evo, which one is this actually? This was Evo 2007. Evo 2007. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Top 8. And yes, if you look at this carefully over here, this is Yipes versus Justin Wong. And sure enough, they are both using the infamous Moss sticks. I don't know what Moss actually stands for, but that's what they are over here. So you can see them chilling the Moss sticks. We used to all play while sitting down because we were used to arcade cabinets. We did not play in our laps because the laps were not sturdy enough for the amount of violent shaking we would actually put on the controllers, especially with something like Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Now, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was very infamous for being a very mashy game. You had to mash on the buttons because a lot of the times that would lead to a lot more damage. Cable, for example, when you did Air Hyper Viper Beam, if you mash the buttons, you could get significantly more damage. You could get significantly more damage than if you didn't mash. So mashing was very, very, very important in an MvC2. But one of the absolute most important reasons why you wanted to mash is that one of the best characters in the game was Magneto. And Magneto had a combo where he would actually do air combo into hypergrav. The hypergrav didn't actually combo, but if you canceled into a super, so you went hypergrav magnetic tempest, basically the freeze of the magnetic tempest would then allow the hypergrav to get a few extra frames of movement with the enemy stuck in like, it would basically extend the hit stun in a way without getting super technical, because when you activated the supers would animate a little bit faster before the opponent could move, and so that actually let the hypergrav move a little further, so that would actually combo into the hypergrav into the magnetic tempest. Now when the hypergrav hit, it would go pow, and you would see the guy float over to Magneto where he goes magnetic tempest. The rocks would form, and then brrr, they would all hit the opponent. So it was like hypergrav magnetic tempest, pow, the hypergrav would hit, and then all the rocks would start hitting. The interesting thing about that is that the hypergrav state of being caught was actually escapable by mashing. And if you were really good, you could mash the button so fast, brah, like this, that it would go hypergrav, bam, and you would pop out almost instantaneously and block all the rocks. So this became one of the most important tactics to learn in MvC2, because Magneto was so strong. Everybody, a lot of the strongest players would be playing Magneto. So you had to learn this. And if you actually learned the technique right, it was just like, brah, brah, like you would just literally mash your hand back and forth. It wasn't like a constant thing. Like you could actually see the players, as soon as the hypergrav hits, they go boom, like really fast, like washboard method is what we called it. And they would just go back and forth. And then the hypergrav would actually, you would escape it and block the rocks. So, like I said, this became so prevalent. And if you look at the moss sticks down there, they reflected old school arcades, which were concave buttons, not the cool, smooth, convex Sanwa buttons that we have today. They were convex, and so the rims on the button were like a little bit sharper. The buttons were concave, and so when you rubbed your hand across them, it would actually not be a smooth top, but like you're literally rubbing your hands into little gaps in the buttons and stuff like that. Yes, and MvC cabinets took a beating as well. And so you would actually mash like that. It would hurt. It would actually break your hand. Like you would break the skin on your fingers, get calluses and blisters and stuff, and then eventually it was just not good. And so the glove was born, and Yipes, this is this is the important MvC2 tournament too. This is Evo 2007 that you see in this picture over here. Yipes started wearing the glove, and it spread everywhere. It spread everywhere, and everyone started wearing gloves. I know so many people on the West Coast, I think Finesse was on the West Coast, was a player on the West Coast. He got really well known for wearing the glove. And they would also wear gloves that had like the crazy, like it was the gloves, but the two fingers, like these two fingers would be cut out. Like only these fingers right here were covered in the glove, but these two were out so that they could actually like still play with their fingers on the buttons like this and then still mash like this. And so like the glove was actually a massive, massive thing for fighting games, which is hilarious. So again, these are the crazy things that we would do for fighting games. And sure enough, dude, company tried to swoop in for this glove market. Are you kidding? We weren't on the map of anything, Basset Snake. And this is another interesting thing is that, you know, people are like, oh my gosh, look at Big Evo. Dude, like Capcom didn't talk to us at this point in time. Nobody talked to us. This is why, like, these days that Evo is talking with the developers and they announce things at Evo and stuff is amazing. Even back in 2007, we were super disconnected from the entire the development side of things. And that's just how it was back then. So here we go. Like, if you look at this, and again, this is the super crazy Evo 2007 MvC2. So if you guys want to see a little bit more of this, we're going to do some more photo. We're going to do the slideshow here. We're going to do the, oh God, what were those things called? The projector reels, those things. Oh God, what were those things called? I can't even remember now, but let's just do this. And yeah, Justin is not wearing a glove because he never did. I don't think Justin ever adapted the glove. I don't think he ever adapted the glove. It was always those things that you call when the vacation came back and you put them onto the little things and you slid them onto the little circular tray thing. I forgot what those things are called. Oh man. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at this. And yep, there you go, slide projector, that's what it is. And there you see right there. And of course, sitting on the floor with the leg in front of them so they can pull the joystick onto their leg and the other leg to make sure that the controller doesn't slide to the side. This was like the standard seating position. Why didn't they swap their buttons on the Mostics? Pollock Games asks. See, these are the reasons why I love these kind of questions, because I don't even think about actually answering this question. The reason is where would you buy them? The real answer is, one, they are, this is what we were used to in the arcade, so we want to replicate the arcade. And two, where would you buy them? US was still used to perfect 360s and concave buttons at this point. We only switched to square gate and convex buttons during Street Fighter 4's release, when the TE stick actually proliferated that style of play, the Japanese style. In fact, in one of my previous history videos, I showed that, you know, we had to have a different cabinet setup for the Japanese players and the American players, because the difference between square gate and perfect 360 and convex and concave buttons were so massive that you couldn't just switch back and forth between them. And so there it is right here. Yeah, this is not Raiden in the background. Toyota Yaris, if you notice, sponsored this year. And the only reason why Toyota Yaris sponsored this year wasn't because Toyota was like, shit, let's get into this esports. It was because the main ad campaign guy working for Toyota Yaris at the time was a big fighting game fan. And also, coincidentally, the producer of Bang the Machine documentary, Mr. Peter Kang, and he convinced Yaris, yeah, you guys should sponsor this this Evo event. And so Yaris did sponsor the Evo event. That's why we had Mario Kart as a tournament game at Evo, which allowed me to make my only top 8 at Evo. That is true. I am a Mario Kart DS top 8 finisher at Evo. And these were little mascots they created. Yaris just invented these little mascots and just threw them in the back. That's it. So I did have an arcade button and cherry switch on as a keychain. Yes, I definitely did. But this is Yipes with his glove over here. And this is an audience here, very blurry pic because digital cameras. I apologize as the cameraman. But like I said, I'm the only one who decided to take these pictures. But these are some blurry pics of the audience. And you can see Boss sitting here. This is Derek Daniels, John Choi. Here's Ricky Ortiz sitting here. Havad Khan. Bill Wellman is sitting over here. A lot of really old school. I think that's Crizzle right there from Northern California. A lot. I think is that Xian Cheng right over there, I believe. So, but yeah, this is some pictures of these guys over here. More pictures over here. A little bit more of the East Coast crew. Smooth Viper sitting down over here. And then I just took a bunch of pictures. I think this is Eric. I want to say this is Eric, who was really good friends with Derek Daniels. Eric is works on God of War. Yeah, Havad, Mr. World Series of Poker. Yes, exactly. And I believe this is Eric. And if you guys remember at the Game Awards this last year, everybody who won for God of War Ragnarok thanked an Eric. You heard a lot of people like, thank you, Eric. You did so much, blah, 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 blah. This is the Eric, okay? This is the Eric. He was originally one of the people who ran Fighters.net. He was a big fighting game fan, went on to work on God of War, and then basically worked his way up to being one of the main people in the God of War scene. And yeah, Eric Williamson is original from fighting game community. In fact, Derek Daniels over here joked to me when he and Eric both worked on the original God of War. Eric is a Zangief player. He was designing the throw system for God of War, and Derek said, now you know why Kratos can grab people from so far away. They should have just added, huh, you know, to anytime Kratos grabbed anyone. Like, you did the grab animation, the bat is like way up in the sky and it just like vacuums into Kratos. It should have went, huh, and then he should have like took him for an SPD or something like that. But yes, that is actually the same Eric. He is from the fighting game community. Just like I retweeted Boss Logic's tweet recently about Ahsoka and Rosario Dawson, and sure enough, Boss Logic is originally from the FGC. It's all crazy, dude. Everyone is in there. Dude, the Castlevania cartoon that's on Netflix, one of the main guys is an FGC guy, and his brother, Samuel Dietz, is the main producer, but Adam Dietz, the brother, is also works on the Castlevania cartoon, and Adam Dietz is also a big person from the fighting game community, originally a big Third Strike player and combo video maker from a long time ago. And then Justin Wong defeats Yipes in what might be one of the craziest comebacks in the history of fighting games over here. And Justin is literally doing a gene splice motion. And yeah, Yipes' face. And Yipes like sees me taking the picture, and he actually puts on a hype face as well. Because, and this drives me nuts too, honestly, this drives me nuts. This video has been uploaded to YouTube, has over 1 million views. This is the video of Justin making this comeback. Do you know who made this video? Do you know who edited this video together? Me. This was my video that I created for Evo right after it happened, because we needed it. We wanted to like throw out another viral video that we do every year. How do I know that? How can you tell that this is me? You guys hear that music? Can anybody tell me what that music is? That is from Pizzicato 5. That is literally the entire track. It was just a tiny, tiny little track on one of the Pizzicato 5 albums that I used for that. So I can tell you right now that, like, I know exactly what song it is. I can bring it up for you if you guys really wanted me to. But yeah, I edited this whole thing together. I put this video together. This was uploaded 15 years ago, so who knew? But Jesus, yeah, this is the video right here. And needless to say, Yipes was in the big lead here, but Justin, using the invincibility on Cyclops' DP, got away with a lot of stuff here. Blocking that cross up there was sick. And then DP, invincibility, and again, you guys don't realize this, but if you hit the point character before the assist actually lands and does anything, so right here, he blocks that mix-up. Yipes calls Psylocke over here, but since he hits Storm, Psylocke, who's invincible on the way in, if you hit the point character before the assist starts, they land, do nothing, and go away. And so even though he called Psylocke, he got DP'd, and so Psylocke literally does nothing. She lands and goes away. And then Justin gets away from this. He DHCs to try to save Storm's life. Justin shoots him from the sky. And then another invincible DP. And then this is the craziest one. That's not even a DP. Justin did Cyclops' like forward, and like 2 buttons where he does the little mashy punches. I don't know what possessed Justin to even try that, but he did it and it worked. And then Magneto died. And then here comes Storm without much life. And here comes Justin. DP! What a DP read. Ume showed you. Eat your heart out. Justin Wong with the Ume gene splice, dude. Bam! Ume gene splice. And there you can see a perfect example of Psylocke doing nothing. Bam! Psylocke comes down, taunts, and leaves. Bam, bam, dead.
Let's go.
And by the way, that is not Ski Sonic. I forgot. Shoot, who was that commentator? So someone in the chat might remember their name. I can't remember their name right now, but that is not Ski Sonic over there. It's an old school East Coast MvC2 player. I forgot the name.
Let's go.
But what's crazy about this is that Yipes should have won. Yipes should have won 2 trades. But right here, boom, 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 should have been into the Choco guitar, whatever, the butterfly super. Yipes should have did the butterfly super. He had 2 meters here. Don't know why he did not. So Justin gets away here. And then Justin with the most godlike double jump in the world. Whoop!
Justin Wong!
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
Oh, you're always watching the bar in these games. If you're not watching the bar, you're not playing MvC2. You know what your bar is at 100% of the time. Oh yeah, and I made this, you know, all this here. I did that graphic. I did the motion graphic, everything over there. And that's what made Justin jump up and do this. Gene splice motion, dude. But the funny thing is, if you look at the names that I put on these photos, Justin does a gene splice imitation after his miraculous Cyclops comeback. Yipes is just as hyped and impressed as everyone else by Justin's comeback. And you know, Yipes has said this before. He just was having fun. Like, it was never about like anything crazy. He was just always having a good time. That's why Yipes is always just having a good time. But as I see in the next picture over here, oh, the crowd can't believe what they just saw. Yeah, you see a lot of the East Coast over here just kind of like laughing. They're just like, oh my God, going crazy over here. Everybody is freaking out. But again, surprise, Justin shows relief after Celebration, but he can't relax because it's still 1-1. That was just 1-1 in that set. And sure enough, more blurry pictures. Yipes gathers himself and puts Justin in the loser's bracket. Just like the Daigo parry, after he beat Justin, he actually ends up losing to KO in Grand Finals. He doesn't actually win. And so Justin doesn't even win that set. He actually gets sent to loser's bracket by Yipes. And then, yeah, and then there's Yipes posing for the crowd here. And sure enough, you can see the glove in full force over here. Dude, what are all these crazy white light spots that end up just like reflections and stuff? But yeah, he was hyped. He won. And then we went through a bunch more matches. This is Eric Smooth Viper Arroyo. He played his match. He went up against Demon Hyo. They played against each other a bunch. More blurry audience crowds. This is, oh, there's Potter right there. This is NKI. Bill Wellman again. There's Havad Khan over here. This is Josh Wigfall chilling over here. Wow, I even tagged all their names, dude. Yeah, Pedro Potter, Avila, Nicholas NKI, and Abnit, and then Bill Deuce Wellman. And so they were all here checking it out, watching it, getting hype over here. More matches over here. Smooth Viper beats Demon Hyo. Has to fight the last West Coast Hope, which was Chris Schmidt over here. Dust particles reflecting flash. Wow. Okay. Wait, you saw Combo Fiend in one of these pictures? What was Combo Fiend? Combo Fiend. Where was Combo Fiend? I didn't see Combo Fiend. Oh, there he is. Yeah, Combo Fiend back there. Yep. There he is. Chilling back over there. Okay. Yeah, and they played a few more matches. Chris Schmidt ends up losing. And you see Eric, Smooth Viper, giving Schmidt a hug. So again, for all those people who joked about Wednesday night hugs and stuff like that, we were hugging even back then with MvC2. Yeah, but then, of course, Smooth Viper celebrating with East Coast because West Coast is now done because East Coast was usually bad. So, East Coast was the best and West Coast was, they weren't bad, but they could never stack up to the East Coast. This is 2007, so this is one of the Vegas casinos. This is taking place in one of the Vegas casinos. By the time we hit 2005, we were already in Vegas. And so there we go, more celebration, more celebration. Now Justin and Smooth Viper have to play for third place. And Justin eventually goes on to defeat Smooth Viper. You can see, yeah, look, Noel Brown sitting there. They're all like bleeding onto the stage over here. Is that Flash? I think that's Peter. I think that's Peter over there. This is Desmond, aka Executioner. Another extremely strong New York player. And then Yipes comes up for grand finals. He has to go up against Justin, who beat Smooth Viper. And unfortunately, I didn't get a picture of the actual celebration at the very, very end. But as you can see in this last picture that I have here, yeah, the audience is just right on the stage. Look at this. Matches 2-2 in a best-of-5 series. And sure enough, Yipes ended up winning the tournament. I didn't get a picture of the celebration, but that was the celebration where Yipes actually jumped up, stood up and jumped and landed and twisted his ankle. And the next day on the floor of the casino, I saw Yipes being wheeled around on a wheelchair. And I was like, I didn't know Yipes at this point. He was like just a relative unknown, not a relative unknown. People knew him, but I wasn't friends with him at the time. But I saw him and I was like, hey, what's going on over here? Yeah, this is my own personal album. I'm the only one who actually took pictures back then because I was like, this is history. We need to record this. But I saw Yipes and I was like, hey, man, congratulations. And Yipes just looked at me and the first thing he says is, fat man shouldn't jump. Is what he said. Because he won Evo and he was like, fat man shouldn't jump. And sure enough, the interesting thing about this, and I love telling this story because I also told this story to Jadelyn as well. And Yipes always feels embarrassed because I tell this story about Yipes in front of people, in front of Yipes all the time. And Yipes, he's just not the kind of person that's just like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I did this shit, you know. But I've often said Yipes is one of the people that I would trust with my life. And one of the reasons why is because there's the story of him being on the subway in New York when an old man, an old gentleman, fell onto the tracks. Like literally just fell into the tracks from the platform and a freaking train was coming. And the train was coming. Nobody did anything except Yipes, who immediately, with them fighting game reactions, might I remind you, with those Magneto reactions, jumped down into the platform. And as soon as he did, spurred everybody else to run over there. And then they all helped Yipes carry the guy out of the platform and then eventually help Yipes get out of the platform. But sure enough, jumping down into the platform, that's a long jump, by the way. he re-injured that same ankle, unfortunately, and so he was hurt again for a little while. But again, that is the kind of character that Yipes has, right? That's the kind of human being he is, and why I often say Yipes is like someone I would trust with my life, and why I think he's one of like literally the best people in the fighting game community. Honestly, like him, Li Joe, like are two people like I would take a bullet for them, you know, honestly. But that's a little bit of fighting game history for you guys over there. The secret of the glove, and like I said, it was Yipes was the progenitor. He was the one who popularized the glove, and everyone started wearing it. And I have these photos here, and like I said, I was able to bust these out and show you and give you a little bit of history and context of what was going on in there. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little bit of history. Again, I did one a while ago where I was talking about what it's like labbing from I would take a Hyper Viper beam for them. I would call the assist, jump down, get shot by air Hyper Viper beam so that the other guy could survive. Absolutely, dude. I would absolutely do that. I don't know what the glove was originally. I don't know, but they were thin, very felt glove. They were like felt gloves. Like it wasn't like a thick glove. It wasn't like a workman's glove, but it was like almost like a massage glove. You know how you get kind of like it's like a thin layer and stuff like that. So I'm not sure exactly what it was, but in any case, that's some more fighting game history. I did one a while ago, so if you guys didn't have a chance to see that one either, I did one on what it's like to lab in the fighting game community back in the day when we didn't have training mode and stuff. So you can check that out on youtube.com/UltraChenTV. If you guys actually, Butler gloves, there you go. If you guys enjoyed this kind of content, please let me know to keep doing this. And also tweet it out. Let people know about this content on my channel and stuff, because you know, as a content producer, it's a tricky game to play, right? So I made the history. A lot of people like the history. History isn't documented on there. I put it out, and honestly, it didn't get a lot of views on YouTube, which makes me sad. But hopefully we can rectify that in the future. So in any case, that's a little bit of history for you guys. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe, comment below, let me know. I'll keep trying to make more history stuff like this. After this, I'm just going to do a Q&A, so you guys can look on YouTube for some Q&A topics. Also uploaded to YouTube as well. But other than that, I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode here. For those of you on Twitch, don't go anywhere. We'll continue with that Q&A coming right up. But for those of you on YouTube, thank you for watching. And you definitely know that the day that this podcast and this video graced your presence was the most important day of your life. But for me,
it was Tuesday.